All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're grabbing our very first tools from the JavaScript toolbox, variables. And look, we're not just going to stare at syntax. We're going to treat these things for what they really are, the absolute essential building blocks for any project you could ever dream of building.
So let's start this whole thing with a really important question, and it's for you. Why are you learning to code? No, seriously, take a second. What's the real reason you're here? Is it just to check a box and learn a language, or is it something bigger? Because here's the deal. The real goal isn't just learning a bunch of commands. It's about building something real, something you can interact with. Maybe it's a cool new e-commerce website, who knows? And that's going to be our focus today, learning with a purpose. Okay, so let's picture our project. We're building a brand new online store from scratch. A new user shows up, they love it, and they want to sign up. Right away, we hit our first big challenge. What on earth do we do with their info? You know, their name, their email, all that stuff. I mean, the flow seems simple enough, right? A user lands on our site, they fill out a form, and then we get to step 3. This is the moment. This is the crucial part. We have to have a way to hold on to that data, even just for a little bit, so our app knows what to do with it. We need a place to put it. And that, my friends, is exactly what a variable is. Honestly, just think of it like a labeled box. It's a container in your computer's memory that you can put a piece of information into. Whether it's a user's ID, their email, their city, the variable is the box that holds it for us. Now, in the world of modern JavaScript, we've got 2 main tools for creating these boxes. So let's do a little investigating. Let's look at const and let and figure out exactly how, and more importantly, when you should use each one. First up is const, as in constant. You use this for any value that you know should never, ever change. It's non-negotiable. Think about it. Once a user signs up, their account ID is set in stone, right? We want to lock that down with const so nobody can accidentally change it later. But here's where it gets interesting. What happens if we try to break that rule? Let's mess around a bit. Let's pretend we made a mistake in our code, and we try to give that account ID a brand new number. What do you think JavaScript is going to do? And bam, JavaScript stops us dead in our tracks. It throws a big fat error, basically screaming at us, hey, you can't change a constant variable. And you know what? This isn't a bug. It's a feature. This is const doing its job, protecting our code from silly mistakes and future headaches. Okay, but what about the stuff that might change? I mean, people move, they get new email addresses. For all of those situations, we have our second tool, let. Let creates a variable that is designed to be changed later on. And you can see it right here. We can create a variable account city and set it to Jaipur. Then, down the road, if the user moves, we can just update it to Bangalore. No errors, no complaints, it just works. That's the key. Let lets you update the value. Now, if you've ever poked around in some older JavaScript code, you might have seen a third keyword for making variables, var. For a long time, this was the only way to do it. But honestly, it's kind of a ghost from the past, and it comes with some issues. And this is the million-dollar question, right? If var can also make variables that you can change, just like let, then why did we even invent let in the first place? Why not just stick with the old way? Well, the answer comes down to one tricky concept, scope. Here's the difference in a nutshell. A variable made with let is what we call block scoped. It's trapped inside the little curly braces, where you create it. It's safe, it's predictable. But var doesn't play by those rules. It can leak out of its block and cause all sorts of chaos, overwriting other variables when you least expect it. It can lead to some truly bizarre bugs that are a nightmare to track down. So what's the simple modern rule of thumb? It's this. Just prefer not to use var. Seriously. To write clean, predictable, modern JavaScript, you're going to want to stick with const and let. Okay, so let's wrap all this up. Let's distill everything we've talked about into a crystal clear set of rules that you can start using in your own code, like right now. One last quick thing. What happens if you make a variable with let, but you don't give it a value right away? Maybe you don't know the user's state yet when they sign up. Well, in that case, JavaScript gives it a special temporary value, undefined. It's not an error. It's just JavaScript's way of saying, hey, I see this box exists, but it's empty for now. And here it is, your cheat sheet. your new mantra for JavaScript variables. Number 1, use const by default. For everything, it's just safer. Only, and I mean only, switch to let if you know for a fact that the value needs to change later on. And of course, just stay away from var completely. It'll save you a world of hurt. And just like that, we're back where we started. We asked why you want to code, and now you have the fundamental tools to actually do it. You can create these little containers to store any piece of information you can imagine. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build first?